Good evening, and welcome to this month's Soul Füd event, hosted by the Passionate Educators Project, or PEP for short. Soul Füd is an informal and diverse forum where special guests open their hearts and minds to share timely information and inspirational forms of expression that feed the soul. We are excited to invite you to partake in our menu for this evening, which we hope will satisfy your appetite and fill you with gratitude, thankfulness, and appreciation for each other. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about PEP. The mission of the Passionate Educators Project was born out of a weekly book club discussion group. Our discussions challenged us to dig deeper, examine our beliefs, and reignite our passion for education. Our mission is to showcase the passion of educators while inspiring and mentoring a new generation of teachers and school leaders to reimagine schools as healthy environments with systems for limiting stressors and producing intellectually curious, creative, and adaptable students. Our meal tonight pays tribute and celebrates individuals that have made an impact on young people at a crucial moment in their lives. It is curated to remind us of what is important, why it is important, and how our contribution to others can shape lives for many years to come. Passion is an emotion that energizes, excites, and ignites. It is the spice that we will indulge in tonight as we engage from appetizer to dessert. Our hope is that our talented guests will stir your emotions, motivate you to action, increase your knowledge, and awaken the artist inside of you. Bon appetit.
Good evening, all. I am always delighted to be with everybody in this space, but tonight I am especially honored. I am so delighted to introduce you to Ms. Jessica Israel. I first met Jessica when she was in my class in middle school. And there are some people, no matter how old they are or how young, they walk into a room and everybody in that room recognizes the power and the joy they have in their heart. Obviously, Jessica is one of those people. Not only was I incredibly blessed to have this bright and beautiful child in my class, but I am especially blessed that this many years later, I have the privilege and honor of knowing her as an incredible adult. She's a true Brooklyn original. She lives in Atlanta now, although we're trying to get her to come home, where she's a mother, a wife, an author, a vibrant creative, and a stage 3 breast cancer survivor. She uses her voice and her writing to impact the lives of others, to spark tough and engaging conversations, and she definitely stirs the emotions for all of us who are fortunate enough to share in her art. Oh, Jessica, I'm so honored to introduce you here today. I'm excited to hear you sing, and I'm going to take this opportunity to publicly apologize for all of the homework, all of the essays, and the many, many graphic organizers I made you do. Thank you for being so kind to your old English teacher. This is truly a special occasion for me. You are truly a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, Jessica Israel.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna jump right into my song. Again, my name is Jessica Israel. Thank you, Miss Warner. You made me cry, but I can't cry because this is already a sad song. Hope you guys can hear me. And feel free to sing if you want to. I'm trying to teach her to embrace her confidence in her voice as well. The song I wrote is called Unconditional, and I wrote it, as Warner mentioned, I just beat stage 3 breast cancer a year ago, and I wrote this song just about, promoting love and positivity, and I think I got a lot of that in my childhood and to a lot of my educators, and I feel like when you love what you do, you make a big difference. So I'm just going to sing you guys this song, and then I might come back a little later. So it's a song I wrote called Unconditional. Hope you can hear it. I give it time to make sense? Was I too cold? But then I tried to see the perfectness in parts of me. Yeah. Did you work hard as you could to understand what you misunderstood? Gave it 100 of your energy. Yeah. Pointing fingers, placing blame, imperfections are the same. I'm the devil, you're the same. Trading spaces. Pointing fingers, placing blame, imperfections are the same. I'm the devil, you're the same. Trading places, sharing pain. But baby, people are real. And everyone's hurting. But baby, love can heal. Truth is, we gotta get honest. Truth is, we gotta make a promise to really love without condition. To really love without conditions. Did you judge hard, want me to change? Did I refuse and say I say the same? But did you only want the best for me? Did I give time to you that you needed? The good days that I see them were the worst parts all I see. Fights and fast and love and slow, slamming doors with no control. Did we ever try to find out the why, or why you and I could never just be? We could never be loved. Nobody's perfect, but baby, people are. Yeah. And everyone's hurting. But baby, love can heal. Truth is, we gotta get honest. Truth is, we gotta make a promise to really love without condition. To really love conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. And for our informational dish, ladies and gentlemen, education has served as a vehicle for Dr. Schrader. She earned her undergraduate degree from Rutgers University and her Masters of Arts, Masters of Education, and Doctorate of Education from Columbia University Teachers College. Dr. Schrader also obtained a certificate from the Institute of Education Management at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. This esteemed educator takes seriously her responsibility of leading at a critical time. Access, affordability, a solid liberal arts foundation, job training, and employment readiness are enduring reasons why she believes that community colleges will and must continue to be a viable option for those who seek to improve their lives. Since assuming leadership of Kingsborough Community College, Dr. Schrader secured $1 million in donation for student scholarships. For the past 14 years, she has volunteered with Habitat for Humanity Global Village programs, building homes in Brazil, El Salvador, Vietnam, South Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Indonesia, Ethiopia, Malawi, and Thailand for families in need, giving back to both her local and global communities. She is a life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Ladies and gentlemen, we are deeply grateful to have Dr. Schrader in our presence today.
Thank you. When I was asked by my friend Maria to join you this evening, I was a bit hesitant. She explained to me that you were a group of New York City educators and administrators, and I didn't attend school in New York City, nor have I ever worked directly for the DOE. Although as a student teacher supervisor, I often frequented schools and worked with teachers. But an educator is an educator is an educator. So I'm like, okay. And then in talking to Taliba, she said that the theme of this evening would be gratitude. And I had to pause. Even though having gratitude for me is like breathing, I paused. I thought about what could I share that might resonate with this group. So I started thinking, and I came up with two important things, but you have to come with me down memory lane to get them. I was born and raised in St. Croix in the United States Virgin Islands, and I went to college and graduate school in the tri-state area. I've worked in higher ed as a faculty member and as an administrator for many years. I thought about all, what, and who I was grateful for. I try to imagine where I would be if it had not been for some of the experiences I had and the people who had a small or big part in shaping those experiences for me. Like Miss Edwards, my second grade teacher, I remember a young Claudia was quiet and shy. While other children had cliques of playmates, I didn't have that many. I just tried to get in where I could fit in. But there was one place that I always had an open invitation to participate, and that was in her classroom. Miss Edwards would call on me to help, and I guess you can say I was a teacher's pet, handing out papers, collecting student work, and my favorite, erasing the board. Unlike my classmates, Miss Edwards saw me and she poured kindness and attention into me and helped plant a seed which grew along with me into adulthood. It is this seed of helping and service. If there's anything my friends know about me is that I love to help. And I'm grateful to my second grade teacher, Miss Edwards, for seeing me. I think about my ninth grade typing teacher, Miss Burnett. Oh, how I hated typing class. Yet it was a thing back in my high school days to learn. But even worse, my 13-year-old self absolutely disliked my typing teacher. We all did. She was demanding and exacting and insisted that we practice over and over again. And I just couldn't get it. Miss Edwards saw me, but Miss Burnett saw me a little too much. For a long time, I typed with one finger, but eventually my speed increased. And by college, I could type a significant of words per minute. In later years, and even today as I type these remarks, my speed and my ability to type accurately without even looking at the screen is amazing. Thank you to Miss Burnett. Today, I'm grateful for her demanding, exacting, and insistence. 4 years later, I found myself at Rutgers in one of my first classes in my journalism major. I felt like I was in the second grade. While I wasn't sure if my classmates saw me, I knew for sure my professor did not. I would say her name, but I can't remember it. I would raise my hand and she would routinely ignore me. The times that she did call on me, I answered. She would receive my response with indifference. She would move on to the next student. And if they would repeat what I said, she would energetically receive and validate the response. It didn't take long for me to realize that I didn't want to be there. And I know they didn't want me there either. Fortunately for me, because of college requirements, I was taking a class in Africana Studies, and I was quickly falling in love with Zora Neale Hurston and Toni Morrison and Maya Angelou, Richard Wright, and all the greats. It was only a matter of time before I would change my major. And I didn't know it then, but change my life's path. In my Africana Studies major, I was able to do the kind of writing I enjoyed. I existed for my classrooms, and my professors saw me. They saw me so well that upon graduation 4 years later, I received the Departmental Award for Excellence. It sits framed on a shelf in my office alongside my degree. I am clear that I would not be in that office had it not been for Africana Studies. It was James Allen, one of my Africana Studies professors from Rutgers, who gave me my first opportunity to teach a college class. I had just earned my master's in special ed, but he really needed someone to teach these classes. And he said, I know you can do it. So I did. And because of that, I had the experience to go on an adjunct at several places. And by the time I applied for a full-time teaching position, I also had teaching experience and content knowledge. I am grateful for James Allen for giving me the opportunity. for my dissertation advisor for encouraging me to apply for a full-time position, for the faculty in the education department at Medgar Evers College, where I would cut my teeth in higher education, for giving me the opportunity to hold my leadership skills, for Edison O. Jackson, the then president, who gave me the opportunity to apply my leadership skills, which would be my first administrative position. When I became the 7th and first African-American president at Kingsborough, at my investiture ceremony, I remembered to thank them all, these incredible men and women whose shoulders I stand on today. But most importantly, I try to continue to pay it forward by helping where I can and when asked, volunteering, serving, mentoring, and making sure that others are seen by creating opportunities for them to grow and blossom. Here's the first thing I want to leave you with. Thank you are words. Gratitude is an act. The best expression of gratitude is to pay it forward. It goes without saying that we should be grateful for people and experiences that help to create positive outcomes and experiences. I am grateful for the teachers and educators I learned the most and least from. They were both models for the kind of educator I wanted to become. And tonight, as I sit among you virtually, I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with others. I'm grateful for my incredible friends like Maria, who always think of me to participate in opportunities. And I'm grateful for new acquaintances like Taliba, because her spirit is awesome. But what about those people and experiences that set us back? I'm grateful for them too. Tonight, as I reflect on my path, I am mostly grateful for that professor whose name I can't remember, but who was responsible for creating the conditions that, when you think about it, led me here this evening. Mother Teresa's poem, Do It Anyway, best captures this feeling. It tells us, if you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten. Do good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. And so it is with this spirit, I leave you with this. People and experiences may not work out the way you want it to. Be grateful anyway. I thank you for your time. And these are my 2 morsels that I hope have fed your soul this evening.
And next, our literary treat.
Thank you so much for that. And I have the pleasure of introducing our next literary treat. Dr. Yolanda Seeley Ruiz is an award-winning associate professor at Teachers College, Columbia University. Her research focuses on racial literacy in teacher education, Black girl literacies, and Black and Latinx male high school students. A sought-after speaker on issues of race, culturally responsive pedagogy, and diversity, Seeley Ruiz works with K-12 and higher education schools communities to increase their racial literacy, knowledge, and move forward to more equitable school experiences for their Black and Latinx students. Seeley Ruiz appeared in Spike Lee's Two Fists Up, We Gonna Be All Right, a documentary about the Black Lives Matter movement and the campus protests at the University of Missouri. Her co-authored book with Dr. Price Dennis, Advancing Racial Literacies in Teacher Education Toward Activism for Equity in Digital Spaces, was published in April of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, we are thrilled and grateful to have with us this evening, Dr. Yolanda Seeley Ruiz.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Ernestine, for that beautiful energy and the love that I feel that penetrates this Zoom screen. I want to take a moment to thank Michelle Patterson, my dear, dear sister and friend. Thank you always for thinking of me for moments like these and beyond. I want to thank my beautiful sister and friend, Ingrid Robert Haynes, for always thinking of me, for trying to push my work and advance my work. Ingrid, I love you. Michelle, I love you. Thank you. And I want to thank this incredibly passionate group of educators who came together out of necessity. Taliba, you're my new friend and sister now. I want to thank you and Jillian and Marcella, Ruth, Deb. Just thank you so much for this invitation. Dr. Schrader, to be on this ticket with you and brother Al Tariq is very special for me. And in particular with you, Doctor, because I taught at Kingsborough Community College, and I miss Kingsborough Community College. And when I found out that you were president, there was a part of me that said, wow, so many ways I wish I was still there to be under your leadership. Thank you for being an incredible example with your life and certainly with your leadership. So it is an honor for me to be here with you. And to Jessica, Israel, and little Jessica, thank you for blessing us with your voices, but with your heart. I felt that song very deeply, and it took a lot for me not to cry. And in the space of all of that, Jessica, what you shared about unconditional love, Dr. Schrader, what you shared about gratitude, there are 3 poems, short poems that I'd like to share with you from my book, Love from the Vortex and Other Poems. And I thank the Passionate Educator Group for reading this book. And just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you. The first one I'm going to read is directly connected to education. There are poems in this book that many people say they see the unrequited love affair between children of color and school systems, that our families continue to believe in school systems and send our children expecting for them to be at very minimum treated as human. And what really should happen is to be loved. And we know that much of that is what is missing. And there are many of you here who work for the Department of Education to try to push forward that type of pedagogy, that type of thinking, because I tell my teachers, my teacher education students, if you cannot love the child as though they are your own, then you cannot fully teach them. So I want to start off by reading Just Us. Just Us. Here is my invitation for you to bend towards justice. My arc of self bends in favor of love. Asking hard questions and waiting for answers that don't offer conclusions, just more wonderings about how to live a life worthy of the children who come after us. May we be worthy of the children who are with us now. We do not always treat them that way. The next poem I would like to read is called, I Love Love. Can I say that? And although this book chronicles, 30 years of relationships that I've had with 6 men that I chose to love, because love is a choice. There was a lot of pain, but with pain, there's also, growth. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful. But there are other things that I love besides love. I have a deep, deep love for the South Bronx, which is where I grew up. And in fact, what I am doing now, I never really intended to write these books. A lot of the poems, if not all of them, came out of my journals over the last couple of years. But I'd like to read The Bronx, circa 1983. I grew up, very interesting time in the midst of the crack epidemic, right? This idea of war on drugs, but much of the war was, I felt, against Black people and brown people in our communities. But the Bronx, it has such a negative rap, and it was a place that nurtured me. It was a place that I knew how to love. I knew how to live life. And the book that I'm writing now is called Growing Up Bronx. It's a young adult novel in verse. So I'm hoping that will come out in about another year or so. But here's The Bronx, circa 1983. I am always thinking of that place, the hood that nurtured me and helped to shape me into the woman I am and becoming. I have always held you close, wrapped in my arms of blazing fire and ashes. I knew you before you knew yourself. I saved you when others wanted to throw you back to the ashes from which you rose. Like a phoenix, you came rising and rushing toward the midnight sky. And finally, I want to read a poem, maybe appropriately called Love. And this is towards the end of Love from the Vortex in the section Other Poems. And this is my journey to self-love, my journey to self-knowledge through these incredible relationships with these 6 men. So I learned a few things I want to tell you. And I do want to share that I've written another short book called The Peace Chronicles, which picks up from one of the lovers in Love from the Vortex, but also allows me to make peace with my father, to make peace with my ancestors, that how I'm using my life, that I have to make peace with. I'm doing the best that I can with what they gave me. And finally, the last section is being able to share peace with others. So that section is called Meta Poems, sharing my meta with folks. But this poem, Love, sort of encapsulates what I learned throughout this journey. I've come to the realization that no man on earth will ever be able to comprehend the depths of love I have to offer. For I am a stranger to myself when it comes to this. My love flows like water, reaching levels deep beyond the surface. My love expands, contracts, opens again in the presence and the shape of the lover before me, meeting and exceeding what he offers proudly as his all. My love, wild and open, shy and wanting, spills over, tripping over my tongue, racing ahead of my heart and causing me to lose touch with myself. But it is myself that I most want to be with, sit with, allow to breathe. No labels, without words. What does I love you really mean anyway? These 3 words can never truly express what happens to my mind, my body and soul when my eyes and spirit connect with another traveler along the journey. The traveler who, like me, is in search for something deeper, ethereal, undefined. The truth is, I haven't a clue what love is, but I now know I have the courage to not speak these 3 words again, for they betray me and my very essence. They go against what I know to be true. Words cannot define love. Words limit what love can be. Love is what I wish to evolve into, what I imagine one day I can become. May we all experience love and peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those renditions. And now our inspirational dish, Professor Robertson is a griot poet, healer, a spoken word artist whose work reaches across race, gender, sexuality, and metaphysics to articulate differences, love aesthetic, queer sensibility, and the robustness of Black voice. As an educator, Professor Robertson's work is infused with pedagogical underpinnings. As a healer, his work reaches for the lost human in all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly grateful to have Professor Robertson share his literary works with us today.
Thank you, T. In the spirit of gratitude, I am grateful to be here, to have been considered and invited. She mentioned earlier, this is before the room started, that I host a poetry room on Clubhouse called Fourth Period Poetry. I often get asked why I called it Fourth Period Poetry, so today I'm going to share that with you. My 4th grade memory is made from construction paper. Thick sheets of incident, a pile of possibilities not yet given form, burnt orange, burgundy, hunter green, handprints traced to make the tail of a turkey, and autumn leaves cut to decorate with the graffiti of a name. Scotch tape to the paint of an off-white wall, we crafted gratitude, not knowing what it was, but enraptured by the feel of crisp autumn air and the advent of food scents that would fill our skin, seemingly cooked into us each year. Reminiscing on those long expired years, I realized my mind has a nose, a keen sense of connection to cooling air and shifting energy that signals ending of eras and openings of others. My fingers have a memory of their own. I still feel short, blunt safety scissors in my hands, their rounded finger holes coated in shiny red rubber, creating paper-made moments that live forever in the soft places still inside me. I still attend to those, like gardens of gratitude flowering before fruit, alive inside the sometimes hard surfaces of my adulthood. My most prominent memory is a seed in the form of human flesh, a stolid and matronly memory, the architecture of a Jewish German immigrant teacher, a woman of thick accent and intimidating demeanor, but loving, a homebody. She felt like safety, contoured by the square hips of all the mothers in my blood and the flat-footed shoes they wore on too tired feet. Her hands always reminded me of bread and baking. She was a new to me kind of care constructed from her own history. And each day on the way home, when I passed her house on Sherry Drive, I wanted to knock on her door, to be invited inside her foreignness, to know her, wanted her to know me in the brown of my skin and the secrets of my childhood silence. I wanted her to mother me for another period. Atlantic Beach Elementary was just a few blocks from the ocean inside my fourth period English class. Miss Hopkins took us around the world without our knowing. She exchanged the exhale of her history with the air of our ignorance, knowing her role was to imprint us. And she did so with very few words. She made us aware of the red radical atrocities of her roots and gifted us a salve against their return in us. She rigged us, set traps in our minds for idea invasions, spring-loaded mechanisms in our spirits to crush whatever might turn us into trouble. One day, in the middle of a dispute over some child's trifle, I carelessly let slip from my mouth unkindness to another child. I hate you. Overheard by Mrs. Hopkins, she moved on me to reprimand, her usually beautiful, unpainted face colored by disappointment that shamed me in a way I was unused to. And I stood there, my head hung, because even the air around her started to smell like sadness. As always, she wore a denim skirt, an indistinct blouse, an apron with pockets for pencils and pens. She did not bend to speak, but kept her head and neck erect, looked down across a rounded mountain of cheeks so that from below her eyes became small slits like razor blades of dissatisfaction cutting into my character, speaking embarrassment into my body. She walked with folded hands, fingers interlaced in front of her, and needed only to look into us a second to tell us a lifetime of information. Hate is a very strong word. That's all she said. Then proceeded to make me write, I will not use the word hate 100 times. In retrospect, not nearly enough. I did not then know her history with hate, had no appreciation for her commitment to putting her foot on it anywhere she found it in the world, most especially in children, had no knowledge of concentration camps, could not comprehend the pain that preceded her accent. I was but a child, unaware that the world was made up of unspeakable things, monsters worse than the ones in my mind, things she could not say to me any other way except hate is a very strong word. So begrudgingly, I wrote my recompense. Inside, I knew that what I had done was horrible, that I had broken her heart, somehow lowered my status and transformed the music of my voice in her ear to screaming, blood-curdling discordance at odds with the righteousness wrapped around her DNA. Ignorant then of the years that crowded my throat, the ancestors who make up the melanin of my own skin, who give it color and character, even in their dead cold absence. I did not know the power of my mouth, or that my tongue sprouted weeds to choke out the vegetation of my good. my potential for true power, but I knew that I had sinned, somehow disappointed God, and stolen the warmth of a woman's smile from her face. I was a thief. So I wrote, confused about my crime, but convinced it existed until an adult day came when it clicked. And I came to know Mrs. Hopkins as a timekeeper, an oracle who wrote herself into my heart and used her hands to shape it. The same way we shaped those crude bowls of clay in crafts class, she shaped me. She gifted me the persistence of love ethic and made me know that hate is a murderous word. The beginning of genocides and the seed of future tears turns us to weeping willows when we grow from seeds that pull our branches down to grave ground instead of up to the sun. It is the end of all beauty, the folding of open hands and the stiffening of a neck. Hate makes menace, makes sorrow, reduces all our joy to a need for repetitious reminders of divine principle because we are divine. And there is no worse offense than when we disappoint the God in ourselves. Yet no greater lesson than the embodiment of principle in the legacy skin of a living scroll shrouded in alternating smiles and frowns to signal the turns of our path and the shaping of our paper, to cut our small bodies into a leaf-like reminder of the things that have fallen along the way. So, in the advent of a solar return to intentional gratitude, of all the things I am thankful for, most prominent to my mind is love in the form of an educator who taught me its value. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting a gratitude offering today is Jessica.
Hi guys, I am back. Again, my name is Jessica Israel, and I am here from Atlanta, Georgia currently. And in the 7th and 8th grade, I had the pleasure of having Miss Deborah Glonner as my English teacher. And I am here to just show you some gratitude and say a couple of things that I feel like students never really get the chance to say because we don't think to say these things. And I think that it will be important for you to hear them. So I currently am a songwriter, a published author, anything to do with English, the English language, writing. I've done it, I do it, and I absolutely adore it. So just to give you guys a quick background, when you grow up in certain neighborhoods, and I wrote some of my stuff down, but a lot of it's like from the heart, so bear with me, Ms. G. When you grow up in certain neighborhoods, I feel like it's easy to be called the exception, and I was that kid. So I was the kid that was called the exception from being, you know, a little girl from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York, not the best neighborhood. And I feel like my 90s sometimes felt like 80s in those type of situations when you're an elementary student that you know you're surpassing a lot of things and you're not sure if they're calling you the exception because you're really, really great or because you're doing the bare minimum and the other kids aren't really doing anything. So I know that my writing had a lot of errors in it when I was younger. And a big part of that is due to my uncle. So I was raised by my uncles, my aunts, my grandmothers. I wasn't raised by my parents as a kid. And I had a lot of pain about that, like at the age of 6, 7 years old. And my uncle would give me a composition notebook. I would fill it up by the end of the night with short stories, poems, whatever I was feeling throughout the day. And then he'd be right back with another one. So I always knew that I could write. I always knew that I would write. And I always knew that I loved to write. And he's why I write. But Ms. Glorna is the reason why I write well. She was the very first teacher to ever challenge me, to ever ask me about my conclusions, not just accept my work. She was the first teacher that actually, I feel like you are the reason why I now am exceptional. I feel like I was able to graduate top of all my classes after junior high school. I've never been in anything other than the top classes, especially when it comes to English. I've done AP English. I went to college in 10th grade and did AP English courses. That's all a tribute to you. I feel like even who I am as a person right now, writing is my release. It's where I left, even now as an adult, it's really therapeutic for me. And I feel like by the time I'm 80, 90 years old, I would still be writing. And I owe my love and my passion for the English language 100% to you. I've never had a teacher be as hard on me. I've never had a teacher push me. I feel like my songs have been on the radio. And I feel like is not just because it's a catchy beat. It's because of how I write, and I know that. Like, I take passion in my writing, and I think I got that 100% from you. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you, because who I am as a person is really impacted by the writing that I do. So you have made a huge impact on my life. I think I would have never gotten the opportunity to tell you that. We're just friends on Facebook, and I just see your life. You see what I go through. We talk all the time. But I feel like I never would have really said thank you without this opportunity. So I thank you guys for putting the Soul Füd event together to give just little kids like me who grow into adults. We never get to tell our educators thank you from the bottom of my heart. So thank you, Ms. Garner. I thank you for challenging me, for pushing me, and for making this little girl from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York, one of the greatest writers of all time. I'm claiming it, because one day I will be, what do they give you? What is it? The best-selling New York Times best-selling author, and that'll be because of you, Ms. G.
Oh,
so thank you.
You mean the best songwriter in the world?
That's right. So thank you, Ms. Garner. So thank you, Ms. Garner.
Thank you, Ms. Garner.
We love and we appreciate you so much.
Yes, we do.
Almost made me cry.
Thank you so much to both Jessica and your beautiful angel. Deb, would you like an opportunity to respond? No pressure. Really quickly.
I just want to say, I wanted to do this to Hadia, but thank you so much. This means a great deal to me. I think anyone who knows me knows that the love I have for my students is unparalleled. I'm not an easy teacher. I am absolutely an exacting person when it comes to that, but I love them so much, and I'm so grateful that they saw the love and left the rough edges behind, because the love is real, and I'm just so grateful. So thank you, Jessica, because this is everything. And thank you to our wonderful panelists as well. This has just been an amazing evening.
It's over?
Check the comments, Ms. G. Your students are here from 392. I see your students in the comments.
Hi.
Awesome, beautiful.
Thank you.
And now, everyone, we would like to present also with a gratitude offering tonight, Gabby Daily.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for letting me join. This has been such a phenomenal evening already. So, as said, my name's Gabriella Daly, and I attended Edwin W. Miles Middle School in Amityville, New York. It was around 6th grade when I was sitting outside Miss Darby's office while she was having a meeting with my very animated mother over a problem I was having with a bully. It was not only the fact that she handled my very difficult mother with poise and grace, but over the days, months, and years to come, I've come to realize that Miss Darby knew that she could not control my very difficult and demanding mother. She could not control the bully who wanted to bully another student. But what she could control was how she acted and reacted to the situation. Miss Darby ate lunch with me when I had no one to eat with. She listened to Lady Gaga when a new song came out because she knew I would want someone to listen to it with me. She got on an amusement park ride when I had no one else to ride with, fully knowing that it was going to make her dizzy and sick. To an innocent eye, she may have just been a principal. But I know today that she's a mentor, a leader, a role model, a fighter, but more importantly, a friend. It's impossible for me to get into all of the things that I appreciate, especially in under 3 minutes. But I do want to thank Miss Darby for not only showing me that there are kind, selfless people in this world, but that people are worth fighting for. And thank you for being there to pick up the phone when I want to tell you about something that other people probably don't think is really that big of a deal. I sit here in the panhandle of Florida as a manager of a domestic violence and sexual assault non-for-profit. With 7 years of substance abuse counseling, 4 years as a defense attorney for Suffolk County Youth Court, 1 bill proposal passed through Congress, and have single-handedly overturned an innocent immigrant's incarceration. And I would not have accomplished a single one of those things if Miss Darby had not been a part of my life. You have taught me to fight for the things that I believe in. You've taught me that doing the right thing may not always be the easy thing. You've taught me to be true to myself and to believe in the good in others. Because I know you, you have changed my life forever. And through me, you have helped more people than either one of us can comprehend. So not only from myself, but from all of the people's lives who we have touched and helped, thank you for everything that you do, and you are so more than appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabby. And Ms. Darby, would you like to respond briefly?
I'll try. Gabby knows I have allergies, so same allergies that you had since 6th grade. I really, really, really appreciate your words, Gabby. I remember you from 6th grade, and everything we've gone through up to and including this point. There are no words to describe how I feel about you. I remember that day I bumped into you in Amityville and you had all of your friends with you and you said, "Oh my gosh, there goes my mother." And they stared.
Yes.
And they just looked at us and you hugged me and we talked, and I will forever love you. And I put in the chats on YouTube, I am very happy that we are doing this for teachers, because I have said to all of my staff, teachers are responsible for everything. Every person who's been successful in everything has gotten to that place by the help of one teacher. Conversely, we have and do have the power to go the other way. So I ask all teachers on this line, the power that you hold is immeasurable. You are a superhero. You are a star to our kids. You can make or break a kid's life by what you say or what you don't say. The fact that Gabby remembers me listening to Lady Gaga, which I am not a Lady Gaga fan, or the fact that you never know. One of my teachers at that same school said to me one day, "You never know the impact you have on other people." So I ask all educators on this line to remember the impact you have on every single child you see, every single day. Get to know your students. I was in a school of 800 students and knew the name of almost every single one of my students. There is no excuse. If you can remember the songs from 1992, you can remember your student. So I ask that we continue to do this, and thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, presenting yet another gratitude offering, we have Mr. William York.
Hi guys, I apologize. I'm not able to join via video, but I hope everyone can hear me. My name is Will York. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for all of you for giving me the opportunity to recognize someone who more than deserves recognition, someone who has consistently contributed so greatly to my life and my matriculation as a man. I am truly honored and humbled for this opportunity. So I attended Bishop Perry Middle School in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was an all-boys Catholic school of about 60 kids from 5th to 8th grade in the city of New Orleans. As a 6th grade student, I was very fortunate enough to have met Mr. Jamar Franklin, my 6th grade teacher. There was no way then that I would have known what kind of impact he will continue to have in my life even years later. He was not only my 6th grade teacher, but he was also my basketball coach then, a father figure, and just an incredible man that poured into me and so many others before and after me. He single-handedly helped me become the man I am today and the father I am today. I learned the importance of understanding who I am, being selfless, and learning how to pour into others. He taught me the importance of being responsible, even hiring me and teaching me how to mow his lawn back in 6th grade. He also taught me the importance of being a man of my word. We experienced a devastating hurricane years later in 2005, and even a hurricane couldn't displace our relationship. Years later, he has continued to counsel me and advocate for my own endeavors. He's even opened his home to my friends and I in LA and has given me countless advice in fatherhood. He's also on the advisory board of a nonprofit organization I started called Black Fathers. And he's been very instrumental in some of the career decisions that I've made, as well as just being an amazing person. Today, I am appearing from Miami, Florida, where I am currently for work, to express my sincere gratitude to you, Mr. Jamar Franklin. So thank you on behalf of me and so many other people. You are appreciated.
Thank you. I'm I don't think he is on, Mr. Franklin, or he's coming in at a later time. Next, presenting a gratitude offering is Miss.
Oh, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you
you.
are.
Yes. I couldn't.
Do you want to take a couple seconds and respond to Will?
Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. I was real young when I was teaching you. I think I was 22,
Wow.
and I looked at all of y'all as little brothers. I figured I would just show y'all how to move as a man. Not even thinking about particular subjects, but just how to conduct yourselves and hold yourselves accountable for every single thing you do. And I appreciate it, bro. Proud of you. You didn't disappoint.
Thank you. I appreciate you, and you know that. I thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Next offering gratitude will come from Ziamora Trapman.
Hi, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? I hope so. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Ziamora Trapman, and I just want to thank you, first of all, for organizing this event and providing this platform for me to acknowledge someone who is incredibly near and dear to my heart. So I attended Fields Academy Preparatory School in Brooklyn, New York. It's an elementary school, and I had the pleasure and the fortune to be a student in Miss Charles's class, formerly known as Miss Brooks, not once, but twice in both the first and fourth grade. Miss Brooks, I salute you in the most heartfelt way possible tonight. As a teacher, you were tough but loving, strict but compassionate. It was clear that you had a true passion for educating students, and I did not know then just how influential you would be in my life. They say teaching is a work of heart, and you, Miss Brooks, exhibited that not only towards me, but towards the hundreds of other New York City students whose lives you've shaped tremendously. I remember your dedication and commitment to my success, both academically and personally, at the tender age of 9. You made sure that I always worked to my fullest potential, and you accepted nothing less. You were instrumental in my decision to become an educator. In fact, you are the reason why I chose to become an educator. I decided as a student in your 4th grade class that I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, and I did just that. You taught me how to be firm but loving with the students that I teach today. And you showed me how to pour into them in the way that you have poured into me. I learned that I too have the passion to shape the lives of children, and it is through my experience of having you as a teacher that I see the lasting impact that educators have on the lives of their students. Today, I'm appearing from Washington, D.C. to express my unwavering gratitude to you, Ms. Brooks. Thank you for molding me into the woman and educator that I am today. You are so greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Ms. Charles, would you like to respond?
Yes, I will. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Ziamora, I was pleasantly surprised when I got your invitation to join. Teaching has always been my passion, even as a little girl. And at the age of 17, I made it my duty to select teaching as my passion, my career. I was always told, both by my mother and other educators, that to love children, first of all, you have to love yourself. You have to be giving. You have to be a mentor. You have to be a good communicator. And you still have to be a friend to those children, because many times they cannot approach their parents and they approach you. And I've had many incidents like that where I was able to counsel children where their parents could not. I am pleasantly surprised that you have chosen your career based on my performance and my influence in your life. I've always loved this profession and I will continue, even though I'm at my retirement, I will continue to mentor students. Thank you so very much, Xiomara. And I hope that you prosper at whatever you put your hands, your mind, and your heart to. Thank you.
Thank you. And next, offering gratitude, Rebel Queen / author, Miss Ty Davis.
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Ty Davis and go by Rebel Queen is my stage name. And I attended Elizabeth High School in Elizabeth, New Jersey, where we had a senior graduating class of 800 people alone. I'm here to honor my 10th grade English teacher, Jill Palumbo. And I want to share this with you because it's so incredibly important to me. Jill wrote the foreword to my very first book. A teacher scans her new students, looking for an eye glimmer that says, I'm thirsty for something more. She spots someone and thinks, I see you, girl. The writer sits in her classroom ready for a leap of faith, ready to have her heart and mind broke open. The glimmer in her eyes is unmistakable, symbiosis. I taught Ty Davis during her sophomore year of high school, and her burgeoning as a writer took place right in front of me. Ty was eager to learn and full of promise. And this book of poetry is for me. That promise fulfilled. Ty has more than found her voice. Her writing is muscular and beautiful in its brutality. Fearless. Lucky me to have been there in the beginning. So I wanted to extend my gratitude to you, Jill. Thank you for introducing me to this incredible author that's living inside of me. I wanted to thank you for believing in me and showing me my talent when I couldn't see it for myself. Thank you for seeing this little Black girl in your classroom who needed attention and was so full of wonder and curiosity. You made sure that I knew that there were other Black writers. You made sure I knew that there were other Black writers whose voices resonated like mine and who told the world what they saw in the most poignant and beautiful of ways. Thank you for introducing me to writers like Amiri Baraka and Sonia Sanchez and Don Lee, for sending up this rallying cry and letting me know that I had a place in the universe and that I was a force to be reckoned with. Thank you for seeing me from the very beginning and for cultivating and acknowledging all that was brewing inside of my pen. I extend so much gratitude to you. So thank you most of all for writing this forward to my very first book. I could not think of a better distinction. I will cherish this work with me forever and always. I'm so elated that I know you and that I can call you friend. And look what I'm wearing. Jill will know what that is. So I'm giving Jill this credit and honor from Atlanta, Georgia today. Just thank you. So much gratitude to you. Thank you.
Jill?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Ty. Wow, Ty, you know, she blindsided me. I did not know that I was going to be hearing such wonderful, wonderful words from her. And it's true. Ty sat in front of me and her eyes sparkled. I could see her little face upturned to mine. Right now, I can recall it in my mind. A young girl, so full of promise, so eager to learn. And the two of us just reconnected physically after all of those years. I had her in the 80s, and was I ever chuffed at the woman that she has become? She is absolutely a phenomenal presence on this earth. And it was a pleasure for me to teach her. It's a pleasure to teach all kids, but it's really a pleasure when you have someone whom you know is just going to live up to her potential, which is exactly what Ty has done. So Ty, my love, my darling, thank you. Thank you so much. I love you dearly. And it better not be all those years before we reconnect again. Sending you a kiss, Ty. Thank you again.
Thank you. Love you too, Jill.
Love you.
Marian Wright Edelman told us education is for improving the lives of others and for leaving our communities better than we found it. I speak for many when I say we are grateful as educators to have had the opportunity to be in places and spaces to nurture the hearts and minds of young people yearning to understand our world. Our commitment to encouraging our disengaged, consoling and caring for those who are emotionally enraged. It doesn't make us super he or sheroes. No, it makes us grateful to be available to explain to our youngsters how to activate and cultivate the empathetic learner, problem solver, innovator, and critical thinker seated in their being as they navigate this complex world. A world in which now more than ever demands that our young people understand to distinguish between distortion and accuracy, deception and honesty, truth and lies. We may never know how we touch the lives of our students. What many of us do know is that we are humbly grateful to have had the chance to care. We appreciate you all for taking the time to be with us today, and we hope that you will join us on our next Soul Food Feast. Thanks all, and have a good night.